All right, so let's take a look at what it means to be perpendicular. In Algebra 1, you were taught opposite reciprocal slopes. So what does that mean? It means if the slope of the first line is a positive 5 over 2, the slope of the perpendicular line is negative 2 over 5. That's what I graphed here. Here's my positive slope. It is going up and to the right, up and to the right. Here's my negative slope, down and to the right, down and to the right. Okay, these are opposite reciprocal slopes. And looking at the picture, let's bring this back to geometry. Here's what we should see. We should see that these two lines form a right angle. Okay, so we just formally defined what does it mean to be perpendicular in a geometry class. If two segments are perpendicular, then they form a right angle. If two lines are perpendicular, then they form a right angle. If two rays are perpendicular, then they form a right angle. It could even be if a segment is perpendicular to a line, then they form a right angle. So anytime we see the word perpendicular, we're going to think perpendicular gets me a right angle. Okay, so perpendicular is a really long word. I definitely do not want to be writing perpendicular every single time, so there must be some notation, some shortcut to writing that. The symbol for perpendicular looks pretty much like you expect it to look. It looks like two perpendicular segments. Some people think of it as an upside down T, but you should see that right angle in there. That's the symbol for perpendicular. And there you have it. Okay, let's switch to some new vocab. So let's take a look at section 2.2. We're going to just introduce complementary and supplementary. So complementary angles, and this is complement with an E. This is not complement, ooh, you're so pretty. This is like peanut butter complements jelly. Okay, so complementary angles are two, sometimes it's more, but typically it's going to be two angles that add to 90 degrees. So a quick example. 40 plus 50 adds to 90, therefore 40 and 50 are complementary angles. Okay, using that same logic, supplementary are, again, it's typically two angles, it could be more, but two angles that add to 180 degrees. So a quick example, 120 plus 60 is 180, therefore 120 and 60 are supplementary angles. Okay, quickly I want to kind of walk you through one of these examples. We will do way more of these in class, but this way, in case you don't get it in class or in case you're absent, you have something you can look back on. So let's take a look here. The supplement of an angle is 20 less than 3 times its complement. Now, years and years of teaching, I've got a quick little trick for you. Here's the key to the whole problem. We have to decide how do we want to set up the angle, how can we make the complement, and how can we make the supplement. And it's actually quite easy. So if we just call the angle x, anytime I see it talking about the angle, I'm going to refer to it as x. Therefore, the complement, well, if the angle's 40, the complement's 50. If the angle's 60, then the complement's 30. How am I getting the complement? I am taking the angle and I am subtracting it from 90. So therefore the complement is 90 minus x. And using that same logic, what's the supplement? The supplement is the angle subtracted from 180. So 180 minus x. Now if I keep this in mind, I'm going to rewrite this sentence replacing out key features. So what does that mean? That means here when I see the supplement of an angle, that's really just the 180 minus x. The is, that's key. That's the verb, that's the equal sign. Okay, the complement, I'm going to take out the complement and put in 90 minus x. And really this goes back to an Algebra 1 problem when you were doing those literal translations. So all putting this together, what does it look like? The supplement of an angle, that's 180 minus x, is, there's my equal sign, 20 less than 3 times the complement. Okay, don't lose that part. So less than reads backwards. And again, we will discuss this more in class. But 3 times the complement is this. And then we have to say, well, 20 less than that. So we're going to subtract off 20. Okay, now it just comes down to good algebra. Okay, so distributing, collecting like terms, bringing all the x's to the same side. Okay, I get x equals 35. So what does that mean? That means that my angle, x, is really 35 degrees. I should put a degree sign there. Okay, what does that make my complement? That makes my complement 90 minus 35, which is 55. What is my supplement? My supplement is 180 minus 35, which now becomes 145. And I guess I should have probably asked you a question up here. Typically, after it tells you something like this, it'll say find the angle, or find the supplement, or find the complement. Okay, I didn't really ask one, so I'm just going to kind of circle all those, and whatever question was asked, there's our answer.